Welcome back to Bust Picks, episode 12.
Yeah.
We're here,
Full
Don.
dozen.
Full dozen, baker's dozen. Don, what's your favorite donut?
Ooh,
It's not the
favorite
question of the
donut.
day. I'm just
No.
giving you a favorite donut.
I'm going to go with the jelly filled. I love a raspberry jelly
You're a
filled.
sicko. I
But
knew you'd do something.
There's a
gross
spot
like
here on the
that.
West Coast. If you guys ever visit, it's in Glendora. They opened up a secondary location inside Grand Central Market. Donut Man. And their strawberry donuts, they do fresh picked strawberries and they like glaze them into those donuts. Oh, that is something else.
See, that's
That is worth coming out here to try.
The cheat code of all cheat code donuts is the Donut Man donut. My favorite donut by far is just the maple twist. The maple twist.
Classic.
Banger every time, never misses. No one's ever gotten that one wrong. And that's what I'm looking for in a donut. That's what
true. If we're going for every
It's a blue
single
chip
time,
prospect.
If we're going for that, to me, donut holes.
we're really setting up a donut draft soon. This is the
just making me
prelude to a
hungry.
donut draft.
This is just making me hungry.
Well, welcome back, guys. My name is Dio Reynoso. I'm your host. I'm also here with my other host.
Don BN, how we doing?
Don, you got a fact for me?
I do, and we're considering it's bowl season coming up. Decided to go a little college football with it. So the first college football poll, to ever come out to pick a national champion, 1869.
1869 for football?
1869 for football, were the 1-1
Rutgers.
Princeton Tigers won
Damn.
it. But that's back when they had a 120 yard long field, 75 yard wide. Modern AP poll was introduced in 1936.
Mm-hmm.
The BCS poll that like everyone's more
BCS
used
poll,
to,
Yeah.
1998.
Yeah, it was really new.
Yeah, it's very new, and they're already changing it up.
Up until the late 90s, college football was like multiple people were like accepting national champions. There was like years where like Michigan and USC would win it and they would like never play the same teams, or like it was happening all the time. That's why that's why I was saying last week, I think Florida State, if they beat Georgia, they can go ahead and claim a national title.
That's the weird part with
Yeah.
a lot of college. But number one team in all of college football for national championships, Yale, 18. They haven't won one since the 1920s, but they have 18 to their record. Princeton has 17.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yale having a ton of national championships and like never being brought up in football ever again in history. It's a beautiful little nugget to have in your brain.
Right? That's just something that'll stick.
That's what I want from fact of the day from you. Good job, Don. You came hitting today.
There we go.
I got a question of the day.
All right.
I've been watching a little bit more NBA.
Okay.
I've been watching a little bit more college basketball. I'm trying to get into the college basketball flow.
Sure. Yeah, the prep for March Madness.
Nothing gets me more excited than watching a sixth man off the bench and just lighting it up.
Yeah, they're electric. They're the energy guy. They're
And
the
watching the NBA in-season tournament, there was, cold white boy of the week. Austin Reeves dropped a crazy sick game off the bench. Mm-hmm. Prompted me to give you this.
Sure.
Who's your favorite off the bench player that wasn't on your team? Not on your team. And I'll go first.
Okay,
I'll give you a second to
okay.
think of. When I think of a guy off the bench, Mario Chalmers is like a player that like pops into my brain off the Miami Heat.
Sure.
Of like, oh, he could start some games, and like, oh, he's really good. But like him coming off the bench, electric. Grayson Allen is like one of those guys that I'm
like that.
I don't love him starting, but when he comes off the bench, watch this man light it up. You know?
There's two ways that can be taken. So we're talking about a starter who later had to go be off the bench guy, or someone who's eventually made themselves into a roster. Because in my mind, Manu Ginobili off the Spurs, he came in as a sixth man. That was the big thing out of Greg, was he was only going to be a sixth man for a long time. Didn't really hit the starting roster until I think 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
So he was a 6-7 year vet, and he finally cracked the starting five because he was more consistent at that point. But he was the energy guy for a long time.
Very, very good. My ultimate sixth man of the year, and I think they're probably going to name the sixth man of the year trophy after this guy. Lou Williams is
Lou
like
Williams is great.
the GOAT
Yes.
sixth man of all time. You would just see him come out of the rafters. He'd play. You'd be like, oh shit, Lou Williams is on this team. I didn't even know he played for the Magic this year. And you're just like, there he is, dropping another 14, drops a 17 bomb right in your face, and then walks off the court all 6 feet tall of him.
To me, then you have to throw in Ibaka. when he was
Serge
on the
Ibaka
Warriors.
can start. Like
He was
Serge
the
Ibaka
sixth man.
playing-
He was the sixth man for every ring.
Yeah, and not for the Raptors ring. He was started for the Raptors ring.
Was he? I thought he was coming off the bench there. Okay, for every Warriors
yeah.
ring, then he was coming off the bench.
You know what? No, Marcus Gasol was starting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's kind of that low key. He's that glue guy. He could just kind of fit into a lot of different roles.
That's a good one. What's the best glue guy? That's a future
Ooh,
one.
that's gonna be a good one.
Let's go into the stock market. It's a brand new, reoccurring, segment we have here. We're going to talk about what quarterbacks we are buying stocks of, whether
Sure.
we're buying them, holding them, or selling them, where we feel this player is going.
Okay.
Let's start with a controversial one. A guy I didn't expect to be in a conversation like this in the beginning of the year. Jalen Hurts. Stock up, stock down. Where are we buying him?
I think stock's down right now.
Okay.
He's making me nervous. It's been talked about since the beginning of the season, like towards the beginning of the season, but it's more confirmed now. He has looked shaky. Things have not looked like it's clicking in that offense. His rushing game has been good. That's been solid. His pass accuracy, not the greatest. And you don't know if that was the play calling. You don't know if that was on him. Late after seeing them just get mollywopped by the Cowboys, to me, I'm worried about Hurts. It seems that just something is not clicking. Something's not going right for that team right now.
Jalen Hurts being off his game is like really, really crappy for me because like I've been. This offseason was my year of buying into Jalen Hurts. I was definitely like, this guy's top 3.
Yeah.
This guy's a top 3 quarterback. I think he's going to be a staple in the NFC for years to come. Him losing his offensive coordinator, him clearly being a little injured, has made me definitely put the stock down. Mm-hmm. But where the stock's at right now, some people are saying he's not even a top 10 quarterback. That is ridiculous.
Because he still has a higher floor, I feel. Even in a bad season,
he's having
a higher floor than most guys.
He's having a quote-unquote bad season right now. I think he has still over like 30 combined touchdowns.
Yeah.
And there's this whole like...
He's the leading quarterback touchdown rusher.
He's one of the top touchdown rushers.
Top 10 overall. I just didn't know where he's at. I know he's top 10. I think
he might be top 5. I think he might be top 5.
I think he's 5th or 6th. I just didn't know exact.
Yeah. He's electric. So stock...
Yes.
Where his stock is right now, are you buying it or selling it, or are you holding it?
I'm selling right now because I think that we are going to see a dip as the season continues.
I'm buying.
But this is a team that knows how to win. They're going to pick it up by playoffs. I'm just going to give them a few weeks.
Okay. I like it. Jake Browning, are we buying, selling, or holding what Jake Browning's given us?
I'm holding. I think we've seen the best he can do in the couple weeks that we've seen him 3 starts now. He's not going to take over a game.
He was electric. He took over the game last week.
He was able to do well, but he's not a 30 pass completion guy. He's not 30 attempts. This team has been running the ball more. Like, this is the most work Mixon and
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown, thank you.
Illinois he looks electric.
This is the most work they've gotten all season is since Browning's taken over, and they're just making Browning do the easy plays, which is working. It's working great for this offense. It's not a dig on Browning.
Is eating a little bit.
If you have weapons like him and Higgins and Boyd, why not use them? Use them efficiently, get them the ball, but you don't need the Burrow taking over. You don't need the Burrow kind of led offense where pass game first, everything else secondary. A more balanced offense is lending credit to him, but I think this is the best he can do.
Are you scared of the Bengals a little bit right now?
Not completely, because I know if the Bengals get down, which we haven't really seen, if they get down by a good margin, I don't think Browning has the capability right now to make a 14-point comeback. Like, he's not going to close that gap. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of quarterbacks that don't do that, though. I think that's what makes a quarterback special is the guy that you're looking at and you're like, I'm down 17. This guy's going to bring me back from this.
Yeah.
I don't believe I have that quarterback on my roster right now. I don't think Gardner Minshew is the kind of guy that is going to bring me back from a 14-point deficit. Like, I know that. But he can maintain the lead and he can game manage stuff. And that's what I think Jake Browning is.
Yes, that's exactly where he falls into in my mind.
But if you're asking me if I'm buying, selling, or holding the Jake Browning stock, I kind of want to buy more. I think this guy's going to kind of prove himself to get a little contract money. I think he's about to show the league that he's a premier backup quarterback for years to come. A guy that you want on your roster.
Yeah, no, he's going to be a solid backup. He deserves a backup contract somewhere based on what he's done so far.
He deserves good money. Let's go into Justin Fields. Are we buying, selling, or holding our Justin Fields stock?
Oh, I'm buying completely in right
You're
now.
in.
He has been white hot since coming back from injury.
Okay.
He has had amazing games on the ground. There's very few quarterbacks you can say that will put up arguably top 8, top 7 quarterback performances and only throw for 1 touchdown. And he's done that each week so far in his physical capabilities. And if he's able to throw for that second touchdown, he's top 3 quarterback on the week no matter what.
I think Justin Fields is an immaculate talent that has been in offenses and been shown that he all the bad things about him, not putting him in the right spots. Saying that, I think this is another question about, like, what do the Bears want to do? They're going to have the number 1 pick and yada, yada, yada. We'll talk about that later down the line. Am I buying Justin Fields stock? No, I'm not. I think his stock is high right now. I think a lot of people are talking about Justin Fields like he's a franchise quarterback in the terms of, like, there's no reason why they should be looking at Caleb Williams. There's no reason why they should be looking at, not having him on the roster for years to come.
No, I think the Bears won't keep him around. They've clearly shown that they're not willing to build a team around a mobile QB.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to. They brought in DJ Moore. They definitely re-signed Cole Kmet. They drafted Roshan Johnson. They're drafted an offensive
trying to get
line.
him weapons,
Yeah.
but we've seen, like, in the coaches they brought in and the play calling style, it hasn't been too.
I think they're just
Fields'
messed up.
advantage. So I think if they do deal him, he's going to go get a big contract somewhere else and succeed.
I don't think. You think he gets a big contract?
I think he has to.
You think if he ends up in, like, Atlanta, you think he'd get a huge contract? Off the rip. Without playing. No, I don't think so.
No, considering the quarterback market right now for, like, what is a quarterback at the moment?
What is a quarterback worth?
I mean,
a lot
right now. If you could get a quarterback that could get you 7 wins, that's a lot.
You
right
flipped
now.
me. I'm buying then. I'm buying all
I think
the Justin Fields stuff.
I think right now, if we're talking contract, if we're talking capability, that this is the lowest we see him contract wise.
Zach Wilson. Are we buying, selling, or holding our Zach Wilson stock?
I'm just selling. I just don't believe in this kid right now. Like, I know he did great. He did great last week. 30. They covered the over in just the second half alone.
I told you that was going to happen.
But he's too inconsistent. He's not a guy who's going to go and win any locker room's trust. He's lost a job multiple times for a reason. He is going to be a risky backup if they get an actual competent quarterback over in New York.
I thought I was going to sneeze right now, and the sneeze morphed into a yawn, and now I don't know what's about to happen to my body. My body just erupted.
Just derailed everything.
It went down my throat into my tummy and then just shook it. And I was like, oh no, I might have eaten too many cookies.
Oh
yeah.
Gosh. Okay.
Look, I really want to be on your team with this one, Don. But I'm buying as much Zach Wilson as I can.
Really?
I think Zach Wilson is going to mess around and be another premier backup in this league. I think Zach Wilson's going to mess around and put this team just in enough of a spot where we're talking about Aaron Rodgers coming back again. Just in enough. They're 5 right now, 5 wins. They rattle off 2 more wins or 2 wins away. He comes back like that. That's a realistic.
Where do you say they're 2 wins away?
2 wins away from coming into the that wild card spot.
Right now, wild card teams have 7 wins.
Correct. So they'll
you're
be at
assuming
7.
if they don't win anything out. So you're saying the Colts, the Steelers.
I told you last week. I think the Colts are going to lose all these.
Well, okay,
games.
it's Colts and Steelers this week.
I think the Bengals are going to lose a couple games. I think Steelers are going to lose. I think it's going to get a little messy for that last spot.
It's going to get messy for that last spot. I'm not a fan of the 7th overall seed. That's just. It's messy. It's gross to watch that.
I think I could be absolutely wrong, but I think there might be a little window where Zach Wilson gets this team in the right spot. They obviously have to win against Miami. They pretty much have to win out.
They have to win out. They have to win out at this point.
But
because you're guaranteed the Steelers, the Colts, who hold the 6th, 7th seed right now.
Yeah.
One of them's getting a win this week, so that's pushing from 2 wins to 3 wins for the Jets to come up.
Yeah.
That's a
It's a
huge ask.
gap.
That's
But
a
like,
huge
just
ask.
if they rattle off 2 straight wins, you then look at Aaron Rodgers in his makeshift Achilles, and you're like, all right, buddy, let's do this.
Yeah,
you know?
start warming up.
Yeah. Start getting those legs up. Tommy DeVito, the DeVito man, you know, the good fella himself. Are we buying, selling, or holding this stock of Tommy DeVito?
I'm gonna sell. I think he's hit his ceiling.
You don't
with
like to have fun, huh?
No, I enjoy having fun, and I like watching him. But I think if you're gonna short a stock, this is the time to do it after they hit their ceiling. We saw arguably his best game, that huge comeback against Green Bay. I don't think he has more performances like that in him. Like he's out there. He's doing the Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
He's just slinging the ball.
No.
He's more mobile, a little more accurate. Yes,
I think
but
Taylor Heineke's better than Tommy DeVito. Are you saying Danny DeVito? Sue me. You know, you know, they're the same. Got the same vibe.
Do they? No, I was gonna
that's
say
the
not
point.
at all.
Yeah, I know.
But no, I think Tommy's going to get himself a contract somewhere on the practice squad. But I think outside of New York, he's
you don't
not.
even think he's a backup quarterback or a backup. You're like, he's a practice.
No, he's going to be a third
quarterback.
stringer. Third string is borderline practice squad in my mind. Like
3 straight. Somebody compared him to Tom Brady today.
That's hyperbolic.
And Brian Dable's like, chill, dude. It's been 4 games. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dayball knows what he has. There's a reason that he wasn't able to get above Tyrod Taylor on the depth chart.
I do love the like as boring and like how everything in the NFL, everything should be pointing to this year being so boring with all the injuries of superstars.
Yes.
And everything really not being super offensively like capable. And in a market like New York, the best story is this Italian kid winning games off of just pure Italianness.
Just off emotion, heart, and marinara.
I mean, his agent's a cartoon character. Like, it's awesome. He looks like the Great Detective, like the Great Mouse Detective. Like, it's awesome, dude.
So okay, apparently that's not actually how he dresses typically.
Sorry.
No, but he was playing into it without a doubt. He was
no
playing
way he was playing into it.
No, but for those of you guys who don't know, he is actually in, I believe, the Chicago Italian Sports Agent Hall of Fame.
It's
Like this, it's a well-established Italian heritage for his agent as well.
that's so cool.
That's just-
he like has a certificate and everything, right?
Yeah, he has a certificate and everything.
That should have been the fact of the day. I'm just
Oh my
saying.
goodness.
Next guy we're going to talk about, the last one, is Will Levis. Are we buying, selling Will Levis? Division mate for me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of feelings I have towards Will Levis, but I watch him, and I'm just gonna talk about this.
Sure.
How I've seen him so far. He's Baker Mayfield with more talent. He's got that energy.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a play that he made against the Colts game where he throws a pick, runs to the interception, and forces a fumble to recover it for a first down. That's something you want out of your quarterback. Did he look like he was missing most of the Monday night game? For sure.
Yeah. No, he just was not there for most of it.
But when they needed him, he steps up. He's made big throws.
He has.
I am buying all of his stock, and I kind of hate it. Because now this is 3 good quarterbacks in my division, and my quarterback can't stay healthy. So I'm like really... I'm starting to get scared.
I don't think he's going to be a premier talent. I think
No.
I would buy in the idea that he will have a starting job for a few years to come. But it's in the same way that Baker still has a starting job. There's going to be teams that just need quarterbacks. And he's going to float around and be successful in that capacity.
Let's play a game, Don.
Sure.
Would you rather Will Levis edition?
Okay.
Going forward, who would you rather have, Jordan Love or Will Levis?
Jordan Love. I think he throws a better deep ball, has a little bit more perimeter accuracy.
I also would go Jordan Love. Who would you rather have, Will Levis or Sam Howell?
Will Levis there over Howell.
I agree. I think Will Levis' ceiling is there. I also like his energy that he brings.
His arm talent's a little bit better, a little bit less mobility than Howell, but that's fine if you have that receiving core around him.
Will Levis or Bryce Young? Both rookie quarterbacks.
That's skewed because I haven't seen. So to me, Will Levis is in the best situation for Will Levis at the moment. Mm-hmm. Like he has Hopkins on the outside, which is great.
Yeah.
You have arguably a almost two-headed monster in the backfield with Spears. You have
that's two-headed monster.
It is
those guys are good.
Okay, no, they're both good.
One of them's good.
Well,
one of them's good.
I know you're biased there,
Derrick
but I don't know if we count Spears as elevating to being considered in that two-head. But you have a very talented backfield, an O-line who's good. Vrabel knows how to coach defense very well. Chigakonkwo, solid tight end, gets it done, gets the dirty work there. He's in a great situation for a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Versus Bryce Young, who's on a team where the head coach didn't want him and the head coach got fired. Mm-hmm. Your best receiver is Adam Thielen. Like he's in a bad situation, I would want to take Bryce Young based on the college tape, based on what I've seen. NFL hasn't shown it, so I don't. I know it sounds controversial if you're asked the casual fan, "Oh, which of these two?" And it's like, well, Bryce Young hasn't done anything, but I think he has a better ceiling. If you get him to a team that could actually develop him properly, he's gonna be a better QB long term.
I'm so biased with the Bryce Young take, and I'm probably. Bryce Young and like Sam Darnold are going to be the two guys that I will always rep for, even when I know they're bad.
Sam Darnold just started seeing ghosts. That's
a road I don't want to go down because I'll cry. Bryce Young is a guy. He's from Pasadena. I'm from Pasadena. He grew up in an area that I'm very familiar with. I've watched him literally play from high school to college to everything. I've been rooting for him for years. I wanted him as the Colts quarterback bad, and I still do. If you can make that trade happen, do it tomorrow. Bryce Young will be a legit Tua level quarterback. I think he will eventually play his way to that Tua Kirk Cousins-esque echelon. I think he's really, really good, and I'm taking him over Will Levis.
I agree there. I'm just worried that he gets stuck on the Panthers for the next 5 years and
just dies.
Just fades out.
Let's move on to the gambling ring. We're going to talk about 7 games this week, 7 fun premier games. We're going to make a bet on every single one. Let's start with Thursday night, Chargers versus the Raiders. This is the worst game. Pretty much what Amazon did, right?
2 5-8 teams, and they decided, let's throw these guys together.
They're like, all right, I know we kind of made that Steelers-Patriots game watchable. Don't worry, guys. We know you don't want to watch Thursday Night Football. So what we're going to do is we're going to give Justin Herbert season-ending injuries on his hands. We're also going to make sure the best offensive weapon for the Chargers is out in Keenan Allen. And you're going to have to watch Eaton Stick. And I know you've never heard of the name Eaton Stick, but I promise you, he's a real person, not a Madden creative person.
Is it Eaton or Easton?
I don't even know.
Because I thought it was Easton, and it just made me immediately want to watch hockey or baseball every time his name was brought up. I don't know if that's just me.
I don't. Don, I don't know. And
is this worth looking up?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to put disrespect on this man's name.
Austin Eckler, who went from being the coolest running back last year to being the oldest running back I've ever seen with my 2 eyes. Playing a team that couldn't score a point in 2 weeks. That's just another Dio fact. I think I'm going to do one every week now.
Yeah, it is Easton. It's Easton Stick.
Easton Stick. Didn't stick with me. The Raiders have not scored a point in 2 straight weeks. That's just a fact.
That is. And they also are dealing with a banged up running back situation.
Yeah, he was mad.
And Josh Jacobs.
Is that the last Josh Jacobs game we're ever going to see?
I don't think it's going to be the last one on the Raiders, but he is clearly hurt.
Yeah.
He is not playing well. Devontae Adams has missed a lot of practice this week with an illness. Max Crosby is also banged up at the moment. And Aiden O'Connell may be losing his starting role.
Where are we going with our money?
Oddly enough, I like the over 34.
Oh, why'd you say that? I have the under 34.5.
Oh, my gut just says this is going to be a divisional matchup. 2 teams that are just riddled with injuries. No. It's very suspect defenses.
Where are the points coming from?
I think it's just going to be gross. I think it's going to be random big plays. Like you're going to get an
Amir Abdullah 40-yard touchdown? We're not getting that.
No, not an Amir Abdullah, but you're going to get like a Josh Palmer 40-yard, a Quentin Johnson big play, and then we're going to see Stick throw a pick 6.
I'll tell you right now, something Josh Quentin Johnson doesn't do is make big plays. He does not make big plays ever.
This
He doesn't do that.
Gerald Everett.
Yeah, he's due for one.
He's due for one. He always gets 2 a season. But I think we're going to see some random big shots down the field because these teams are just going to have to like haul it off. And then it's going to be some sloppy defense and sloppy offense that's going to lead to turnovers.
I think one thing that this Raiders defense has shown me is that they can kind of just hang in there when the offense they're playing against is bad. Like if the offense is bad, they're okay. Chargers have a fine defense. They're not great. They're actually pretty bad on the back end.
Yes, they are.
They'll play good enough against bad offenses, a la the New England Patriots game. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a nasty game. I really can see this score being like 10-6. I mean, the Chargers' last win was a 6-0 game.
Yeah.
With all their healthy weapons. This game could be disgusting. The fact that it's only 34.5 does scare me.
That's very low line.
But this is where I think all the casuals are like 34.5. They got to hit that, right? That's only 5 touchdowns. They're not scoring 5 touchdowns.
No,
when
I
you
think-
say it like that,
no, it's not
are
gonna be
they
5.
scoring 5 touchdowns?
No, I think it's going to be mainly off field goals. I think this is going to be red zone
harder.
turnovers. Chargers
So
historically.
why not just bet field goals in game?
Because the line hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, the line's out.
No, when I wrote this out,
Oh, gotcha.
I could check right now, but no, I think that they're somehow going to hit this over, and it's going to be sloppy as heck.
3.5 field goals.
Oh, they should clear it combined. They should clear that
No, each.
3.5. Like that's what I'm saying is both
Yeah.
teams combined for 4 field goals essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're both. I think they could hit that pretty easily.
Okay. I think 34.5 is a gimme. I'm taking the 34.5.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next game. It's 6.5, by the way, overall.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
a little high.
6.5.
Yeah, 6.5 is a little high.
Yeah. Let's go to the Steelers and Colts. It's been a while since I've got to talk about the Colts. Okay, guys. We were 5-0, and you can never. Here's the thing about being a Colts fan: there's always middle of the season where they play really good football, and
Yeah.
I always get bought in because I know in the beginning when we lose our games, I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's a rebuild season. It's the same thing I always tell myself. And in the middle of the season, I always get bought in. It's quite literally the opposite of most other fans. I always get bought in October and November. And this year, I was there.
You believed in Gardner.
Every time I do it. Isn't that crazy? Every time I believe in Gardner, he lets me down. And I'm at this point in my relationship with him where I know he's not going to give me a ring. So what am I doing? I'm wasting time. I'm wasting energy with this man. I think it's time to let him go emotionally and start looking for other options. I think I'm going to break up with Gardner Minshew. I think me and Gardner Minshew are breaking up. So
Okay.
This is my statement. I don't think the Colts are going to make playoffs. And that's okay. I'm a strong, independent woman. Saying that, over 42.5.
Okay, I was waiting for it. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, where you going with all this? Mitchell Trubisky has already been announced to make the start for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett's out. And
That
they
offense is
might
bad.
try to force TJ Watt out onto the field again. We'll see.
So-
I'm hoping he takes a week off because
Can we talk about that?
We should talk about that a little bit.
TJ Watt played concussed last week.
Oh, he was 100%
So,
concussed.
if you didn't see, he got hit in the jaw.
Yeah,
I'm doing
no,
quotations in jaw.
no, he got the
His
knee,
jaw, yeah.
the knee hit the jaw.
Okay.
but that could still knock you out.
Went to the sideline. When checked out.
Clearly shaken. Clearly
Okay.
very shaken up.
Bleeding. Comes
Out of his
back
mouth.
in. Goes back out of the game. Goes into the tent. Comes back out with a black visor. Something he only wears in pregame.
Yes.
Comes out. Why is he wearing a black visor? So people can't see that his eyes are rolling in the back of his head because he's clearly concussed.
Yeah, and you could tell from that point on he was not the same TJ Watt.
Because, yeah.
Like
he was injured.
He was injured. He was very clearly like you said, concussed.
Yeah.
Like he was not performing up to his normal standard. Like he was just not having that same motor in him.
Here's the thing. If TJ Watt doesn't play, I have to buy into the Colts. I have to, which is a tough spot for me to be in because I don't want to believe again because I'm not ready to get hurt again. So, TJ Watt, please play. That's all I can say.
You just need him on his presence on the field.
They win a lot when he plays.
That's true.
They win a
That's
lot.
true.
And when he doesn't play, they never win.
Yeah.
And I need them. I'm over 42 and a half. Over 42 and a half. I got to stay there.
For me, I'm taking Gardner Minshew's rushing line over 4.5 rushing yards.
Man can scramble. He took a hit. He took a hit last week.
He did take a hit.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great setup for him. I would take it up to 6 yards. He's covered this line 3 in the last 5. He averages 3 carries per game. Like
Good
scrambles
offense.
or carries himself.
Good offense.
And I think as the team is trying to make a playoff push, because they're not trying to
They're not
avoid
giving
playoff.
up.
They're not giving up.
Shane
And
Steichen makes into the playoffs. He's a legit coach of the year candidate.
I agree. And I think as that pressure comes down to make that final push in, you're going to have, I think, Gardner feeling the pressure a little bit, try to put more on his shoulders. I think his average rushing yard starts increasing.
Next game we're going to talk about is the Broncos versus Lions. The Lions are so much fun, but every time I'm like, all right, Lions, let's do this. What? Can you tell me why they let us down?
It's the
every
defense.
time.
It's the defense right now. The defense has gone from a top 10 statistically in the first 8 weeks of the season. They were a top 10 defense. They had a number 2 finish, number 9 overall finish, and then they hung around in that kind of 11th, 12th
And now they're
range.
just bottom.
They have dropped out to the last 5 weeks 27th,
Wow.
16th,
Bad.
30th, 13th, 27th. When
Okay.
they're bad, like they do average, and then when they're bad, they are bottom.
It's just the games that I expect them to play good defense on, the Bears, the Packers, they get destroyed. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Barely skated by the Saints. If you
Barely.
just look at the box score, it looks like they handled the game. Watching that game, they got lucky.
The Saints came back, and I was like,
Yes.
the Saints might win this game. Saying that, the Broncos, I know they lost against the Texans. This is a hot team.
Yes.
Russell's playing out of his mind.
No, the turnaround has definitely happened for the Broncos this season.
Is the Broncos +4 a trap line? Because I'm taking Broncos +4.
I don't think it's a trap line. I like it. I don't think the Lions are sliding right now, and that worries me a lot. Personally, I'm looking at Javonte Williams over 52.5 rushing yards.
Javonte Williams over 52.5
Like
rushing yards.
yeah, that just seems like a very low line. Like the
It's just-
Lions in 4 weeks have not let a team rush for under 100 yards on them, and Williams has covered 52 or more in 6 of the last 8.
He's getting the rock the
He's
most.
getting the rock the most. This is where I think the Lions are the most beatable. Is just run it down their throat, control the clock for them.
I think Russ in the play action game this year has been so much fun.
It's been deadly.
And it's we're getting to a point now where the Broncos are like, all right, we want to make a playoff push. We got our coach. We got the quarterback. We feel like the defense has definitely stepped up.
Yeah, they have. They've rallied.
Yeah, Broncos +4 has to be my pick. I'll die with the pick.
No, I like it. I'm enjoying it too. The Lions have a solid offense, but just their defensive woes worry me.
Buccaneers versus Packers. Buccaneers versus Packers. Packers are favorites after shelling their. Oh wait, no, they lost.
Packers lost.
To who?
Packers lost to the Giants.
Tommy
And
DeVito.
Tommy Cutlets.
That's our boy. I feel like the Packers are at a point right now of like, hey, we're either a good team or a bad team. This is the game for me.
Okay.
Because I've been nothing but wrong about Jordan Love. When I was bought in on Jordan Love, he hit the floor. When I sold on Jordan Love, he started rising. I'm betting on Jordan Love this week.
Okay.
-3.5. Tell me why they're going to lose.
No, I'm right there with you. The -3.5 on.
You've also been
the
a
Green
Jordan
Bay.
Love guy, though.
I have been more of a Jordan Love advocate than you. And I think it's because of Tampa. Personally, that Tampa has not traveled really well this season. They're 3-4 on the road.
Defense was good last week, though.
The defense was good last week, but then they've been terrible other games.
Yeah.
Like they are one of the worst offenses against covering wide receivers. They are very banged up in the secondary. I know Christian Watson's out, but you've seen Reed take a big step forward for Green
He's
Bay.
questionable, too, though. Like, it's...
No, he's gotten limited practices, and
Yeah.
I think he's going to get the start there. I think that the home conditions of Lambeau Field in the winter, on top,
different world. Lambeau in
different
the
world.
winter.
Baker has never won when he's traveled to Lambeau. He's traveled there as a Ram, I believe, and then he's traveled there in the Browns. Has never won in Lambeau yet.
So you do?
Nah, I don't even think he's due. This offense, the Buccaneers have been too hot and cold, start stop, very stuttery team. I think Green Bay is just going to lick their wounds from last week. A lot of it was special teams woes. Get healthy and just get a nice, controlled environment win for themselves.
Wouldn't it be so cool if Baker Mayfield won this division, though? Like, wouldn't it be so much fun? Like the Buccaneers win this division, going 8-9. They look at they go into the playoffs and they know they have to host either the Eagles or like
Dallas.
the Cowboys or something like that.
Yeah.
And we get to watch one of the worst games, and there's a chance where Baker redeems everything. Everything anyone's ever said about how bad he is. He gets that game to show them, oh, check this out, I'm a legit NFL starter. That's such a fun idea to me. Too bad they're not going to make playoffs.
Yeah, I don't
it's going to
think
be
so.
bad.
I think this division to even get to 8-9 is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Like the Buccaneers are leading with 6 wins, and I don't know if they have another 2 in them to close out the season.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, because they have 15, 16, 17, 18, 4 more
More
games. They need to win half of their next games
Yeah.
to get to 8-9, and that's not just the Bucks.
Yeah.
That's
Atlanta.
everyone in that division right now needs
Yeah,
to win at
that's-
least 2, maybe 3.
That's why I'm saying, like,
Like-
eight wins
8 wins is
is winning that division.
a big ask right now for anybody in that
Hey, Don,
division.
could you imagine 9? 9 wins?
It's not happening.
That's asking for way too much. Let's move on to the Cowboys versus Bills, a premier game. 2 franchises coming off of huge wins.
Yes.
Whether it's Kadarius Toney offsides play, whether it's the Dallas defense and offense absolutely bulldozing this Eagles team. I really sat down and I was looking at the numbers. I was looking at gambling lines. Mm-hmm. I was looking at Dak Prescott MVP odds. And then I always remember I pull out this little ticket, like this old little receipt that you forget that you have scrunched up in your wallet or like in the back of your car.
Yeah.
And it's my Bills future playoffs plus 200 bet.
You only took them for playoffs?
I took the
I have Bills Super Bowl win
When'd you get it?
3 months ago.
Okay, I took them to make the playoffs plus 200
Yeah.
like 3-4 weeks ago when they were on their decline, just to make the playoffs plus 200.
They might skirt in.
They're gonna get in. They're gonna get in.
They're looking better.
And this is another game to add to their Chiefs win, then the Dallas win, and all of a sudden you're looking at the Buffalo Bills being, I don't want to play them in the first round. The first seed being so important in the AFC because I don't want.
You don't want to get
host.
caught in the wild
I
card.
don't want to host the Bills.
Yeah.
I'd rather play Joe Flacco in the Browns. I'd rather play maybe the Indianapolis Colts or Houston Texans. I don't want to play the Bills, and that's what the Miami Dolphins, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are all thinking right now. Give me the Bills. Give me the Bills.
Okay.
Give me the Bills. Give me the Bills. Give me the Bills. Minus 1.5.
To me, it's in Buffalo. It's going to be a windy, cold game here, but I don't think that's going to affect too much in these offenses. Like they both are able
25
to
mile an hour
battle.
wins. That's when it gets scary.
That's when it starts getting really worrying. To me personally, I'm just taking Josh Allen on his turnover line, and I'm just going to
Love
hit the
that
over.
line.
It's right now. I think at 1.5, and I'm taking him on the over there. Like the Cowboys, that's what they do is they create turnovers. That defense, vultures, and I think that Dallas has an edge here personally. They're 9-4 against the spread, and with Josh Allen historically, when he throws two picks, they don't really win those games.
They don't win those games.
And so that's what's worrying me about Buffalo is this going to be Josh Allen proving people wrong?
It is.
But it's not just on him. It has to be on this play calling. It needs to be on the rest of the Bills to step up because Allen has been carrying this team too long. You need to get him a true number 2. Kincaid is great, but he's not a number 2. Gabe Davis just disappears from games.
Who'd you say was the number 1?
Number 1 is Diggs. I'm saying Allen's carrying the team.
Yeah. Diggs is their number 1. Dalton Kincaid's kind of stepped up.
But he's not a number 2.
Yeah, they don't have a number 2.
They don't. They don't have any.
Gabe Davis just disappears.
When you give it 11 the targets to
Yeah.
Stephon, he's getting 6 catches because he's double covered every time. This is when Allen needs to force the ball into issues.
So what are we betting?
I'm betting Allen's over on his turnover line. I'm taking right now it's at 1 to 1.5 depending on what book you look at. I'm taking the over on either of those.
1.5 you're taking the over.
I think 2 picks is very reasonable.
Gotcha. Let's go to the Sunday night game. Your team, prime time, Ravens versus Jaguars. The banged up Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
The best team in the NFL, the Ravens.
We're tied. We're tied with the Dallas. No, record-wise, we're tied with Dallas. Tied with Dallas and tied with Philly. 10-3s.
And the 49ers.
And the 49ers.
You guys better than all those teams.
49ers worry me.
Luckily you get to figure that out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, on Christmas. Yeah. That's going to be a fun.
But
you ever want to see someone melt down on Christmas? A grown man. That's going to be me during that game.
Have you come to the realization that what happens if you guys don't get the first seed and Joe Flacco has to come to Baltimore? Have you wrapped your head around the madness that could be coming your way?
Oh, that'll be. I honestly, I can't speak for
That's
every
a nightmare
Baltimore fan,
scenario.
but I think it'll be a fun game. We are the ones who burnt Flacco. Flacco didn't burn us in any major way.
You guys burned Flacco because you had Lamar.
Yeah, because we had Lamar like in the wings waiting for him. So I think Flacco will be like not hated by the fans for coming back, for showing up.
No.
There's no way. But I think that will be an entertaining game seeing him come back.
How angry would you be seeing Flacco smash your team?
I don't think he will. Like Flacco always gets that one weird "what are you doing" turnover every game.
Awesome.
And Baltimore, the defense has been playing enough where that's going to be very punishable.
There's anyone who knows how to play against Baltimore defenses, though, it's the guy who played against him in practice forever, you know?
That's true. Well, I mean, this is a very different team from when he left.
The coaching's still the same.
Well, top end, yeah.
Yeah.
But looking at this matchup here, Jags, they worry me. Christian Kirk is still going to be out.
He's out for the season.
He's done for the season. Zay Jones has been battling a lot of injuries.
He's questionable. It sounds like it's going to be a Calvin Ridley and company type of day. Now that Parker has been huge on that offense.
Yeah, he's been stepping up into that number
Parker
2, number
Washington.
3 role.
Yeah, he's been really good, especially in the red zone. Evan Ingram took massive steps last week.
He has shown out this season. Like I think he was slept on too much in New York.
So, are you worried at all?
I'm not too worried because of Lawrence's mobility. If he was coming in healthy with this team, I think that I'd be more worried about Jacksonville at the moment. He was moving, but that high ankle sprain, he's still trying to play on it.
Yeah.
2 weeks after getting it, he was not. You could clearly tell he was in visible pain last week. I think the pass rush is going to be very, very tough for Lawrence to navigate.
What's your bet?
I'm taking Baltimore -3.5 here.
I'm there too.
Yeah, and it's mainly because of Lawrence's ankle.
It's mainly because I have the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. I bet. I have a ticket, plus 1,200, sitting on it. Very excited.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Eagles versus Seahawks, Monday Night Football, the last game we're going to cover today. Eagles are losing. We talked about Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
I also have a Super Bowl ticket for the Seahawks. I have 2 tickets on the team. I take one for the AFC. I take one for the NFC. My NFC team was the Seahawks. I'm regretting my Seahawks pick. I'm regretting it bad.
Okay.
Saying that, I think the Seahawks are going to win this week. Plus 3.5. I think they could win straight up.
I'm right there with you on that. So far, Philly has lost the spread in every game that they've lost this season. They do not cover the spread in any losses, even if they are a dog. Cool. And they've lost both their games against Dallas Seattle manages to cover both losses to Dallas and San Francisco. Mm-hmm. They've covered the spread. Mm-hmm. When the last Dallas matchup and the matchup against San Francisco, Eagles do not cover the spread and actually have lost by 20 points in each of those games.
Yeah.
Seattle is able to kind of tough it out, play a little bit grittier in my mind. Seattle also, when they're able to generate, or the Eagles so far this season, on the road, averaging 2.5 turnovers per game.
Okay.
On all their road games.
So they're forcing turnovers.
They give up turnovers. Eagles give up turnovers. Okay. Seattle, when they're able to get at least 2 turnovers, 3-1-1 against the spread. So when Seattle's able to, so if the Eagles hit their average turnover rate, Seattle has the advantage.
We're rooting for turnovers in the Seattle game.
Yes,
because the second they get 2, it's a lock.
It's 3-1-1 on the season. Seattle has only lost one game against the spread when they get 2 turnovers. I'm liking them a lot there.
I like it a lot too.
Yeah, I think Seattle, they're more desperate for this playoff spot right now than the Eagles are.
They're also like, if they lose this game, they could be sliding out of the playoff spot.
Exactly. Pete Carroll's going to bring in some desperation to this team, bring in some grit.
Let's move into bust of the week. We're going to talk about the players who, busted. Didn't show up to play.
Yeah.
Mine's a little bit different.
Okay.
I'm not talking about a specific player as I am talking about a franchise. And that franchise is the New England Patriots. And last week, I pled to the football gods to not get Caleb Williams in New England.
Mm-hmm.
That might have happened with a win last week. This week, I congratulate the New England Patriots. Thank you. Because as reports are saying, it sounds like Bill Belichick's gone.
Yeah, it sounds like the team and him has reached a mutual agreement, and he's moving on at the end of the season.
It sounds like my Indianapolis Colts are the ones that put the stake in him.
The Germany game.
After that Germany game, it sounds like they were like, all right, we're ready to move on. What are you doing, New England? Listen, you already... 4 years ago, you made a decision. You said, we're going to get rid of our Super Bowl winning, maybe greatest player of all time, quarterback Tim Brady. And I said his name right.
As long as you believe it.
Yep. Tim Brady, we're going to get rid of him, and we're going to keep the old man, Bill Belichick. A few years later, here we are. You clearly made the wrong decision, and you're going to do the same thing again. You're going to let Bill leave to go to another team, the Chargers, and take that team to a Super Bowl in front of your face. And you as a franchise are going to have to sit there and watch it happen again? You guys are losers. This is the exact energy that kept you from being the losing franchise you were in the 80s and the 90s and everything before Bill Belichick walked into that building. The second you say goodbye to Bill and what he's built for that organization is the second you can't even claim those damn Super Bowls anymore. That is out the damn window. You ride or die with your boys. I don't care if he wants to coach until he's 97 years old and you have to wheelchair him out there with his gas pump or with his oxygen tank and everything. You let that man do that because for 20 years he gave you the best damn 20 years of his life. Patriots bust. Go.
That is a lot of vitriol for someone who's historically been our opponent.
Yeah.
Both Baltimore and the Colts.
I hate the Patriots.
Yeah.
They've put a lot of bad memories as a Colts fan in my veins. Game respect game, dude. Tom Brady, pretty good quarterback. Maybe a top 5. Bill Belichick, definitely a top 3 coach all time.
Yeah.
So, and maybe a good GM one day. You know, like we'll get there with him. He needs a little bit more development there. But you put him in a free agency friendly where he can go to Los Angeles and kick his feet up and say, watch this, I'm going to make this Justin Herbert kid electric. Call it a day. Stick a fork in it. That's a Super Bowl recipe if I've ever heard it.
That's a scary, scary prospect.
Don, who's
there.
your bust?
Basically, all 4 teams who played Monday night, their special teams specifically. That was the sloppiest special teams. Like you could branch it out to the entire weekend of special teams with how many muff punts, bad kicks. But Monday night was just, we saw, 4 muff punts in just the Packers-Giants game alone?
Don, I don't think I've seen more muff punts in the past 3 weeks than I have in an entire college football season.
I don't know what changed in these teams. All of a sudden...
It has to be the weather.
It has. Like, that's the only thing that explains it. Because this was just sloppy football, too many turnovers.
And it's from teams that, like, I don't expect it from.
Right?
Like the Titans, what are we doing? You know, like
the
Giants, like Brian Daboll's like a pretty tight knit coach. Like what are we doing here?
Typically, like this is what I expect from the Chargers.
Yeah,
because the Chargers have yet to figure out special teams too strongly. Come on, guys, what are you doing?
All bad.
Tighten it up.
All bad. Let's move into another segment. We're going to go real quick with it. We're going to call it the Bowl Boys. We're going to go through college football. We're going to talk about a few bowls that me and Don have been highlighting, talking about them. We're going to give you 3 bowl games. We're going to talk about which 3 we are betting on right now. Go take the lines as they are now. Don't wait for them to creep up on you. Take them now. We're getting ahead of it. We're not hitting the big bowls. We're, the little undercut, the little ones,
Yep.
So, Don, give me your first bowl game.
My first is going to be the biggest bowl that I've taken so far is going to be the Fiesta Bowl.
Okay, I like
We're
it.
looking at Oregon, number 8 Oregon against Liberty.
I like it. That's a big bowl.
It's the biggest one we're looking at. Yeah, and it's because of Oregon's premier name on that. I'm taking Oregon minus 17.5.
Don't disrespect undefeated Liberty like that, all right?
I would
Good boys.
I would even take Oregon up to minus 21. I am taking the alternate spread. I would bet this to 3 touchdowns.
Don, I would take this like 27.5. I think this is about to be the Bo Nix light up show.
This is going to have to be in my mind. Ducks have only lost to Washington this season. Liberty, yes, they're undefeated. They have yet to play a ranked team all year. Mm-hmm. Then their only good part of their offense, like what they've built this team around, is the run game. Mm-hmm. The Ducks only allow 3.4 yards a carry on the season.
I love it.
They are the 12th best run defense in the entire college football
like they should have won the Pac-12.
FBS at this point. They are one of the most high octane offenses. Liberty has yet to face an offense in the top 50 in college football right now. And to me, this is just going to get lit up. On top of that, Liberty this season, 14th most turnovers given up.
Yeah, that sounds like a Liberty stat.
Yeah, this is going to be a gross game to watch. I don't know how 23 Liberty has gotten this opportunity against the Ducks. Like, you put them against like a Kansas State, you put them against one of the lower division teams and let a game happen that way, would have been fun. Would have been a good game. Oregon,
James Madison versus Liberty would have been electric.
That would have been, oh my goodness, such a fun one. This is going to be a blowout.
Yeah. I'm with you on the Oregon one. I'm taking Oregon. I'm going with a different bowl game. I'm going with one that's happening this Saturday. I'm taking Boise State plus 3.5 versus UCLA.
Ooh, that sounds like a good matchup.
It's a great matchup.
That sounds like a very good matchup.
UCLA in this transfer portal hell of them losing their freshman quarterback. Mm-hmm. They're on the fly. They're already recruiting. They're kind of looking forward into next year already. Those are the teams that I'm looking for. I want to see the traps happen. And then I want to go to Boise State. They're not looking forward. They want to cap off. Hey, we finished. We won a bowl game. We won the Mountain West. You know how we get recruits? We show them we can beat good teams. UCLA is a good team. You're giving me them plus money. I'm taking it. I would take this team money line. I love it so much. Boise State 3.5.
Calling the upset. I like it. My second bowl I'm taking is the Pop-Tart Bowl. 25 Kansas State versus 18 NC State. Look, the Wolfpack.
I have this one circled as a backup one.
Really?
Yeah, just in case you took mine. Yeah.
No, I like it. It's a good one. Because the Wolfpack have lost 3 of the bowl games they've played against Maryland, Kentucky, and A&M. Yep. I kind of put them around that Kansas State. They're a little more explosive offenses, but I like Kansas State too. But like a similar tier almost in a lot of ways this season. Against Maryland last year in the Mayo Bowl, North Carolina was actually favored by 2, ended up losing. Only 296 yards of offense. And turned over the ball twice. This offense has been an issue for the Wolfpack all season. And I think they struggle to keep up in a big way. Kansas State, 10th overall in points on the season. They are averaging 37.8 points a game. Like, they are very hot. I don't think North Carolina is going to be able to keep up.
I know you don't know this. Starting quarterback Will Howard is not playing.
For Kansas
State.
Yes, for Kansas State.
Yeah. He's not playing because he's one of the most highly recruited transfer portal quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. So this is going off the back of a sophomore quarterback.
Yeah.
Can this offense be the same?
I think that they're still going to play with that same style, reckless abandon.
I agree with you there.
I don't think that they're going to put up 37.5. Like, I think they're going to put up 28.
I think they can. I still think they can put up big numbers. It's just how different is this team against an NC State team that really isn't like, these are the hungry dogs, like, do they eat?
I mean, considering how many weeks that we have to build up to this game.
Yeah.
2 weeks. 2 weeks, but that's a lot of reps.
That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time for Kansas State to get ready for this. I think that they have a good size upset here.
I'm going back to the Pac-12. I'm going with a team that I think people are forgetting how good they really are, and they're keeping their quarterback again, and that's Cam Reddish and the Utah Utes. They're getting only -6 against Northwestern, a team that eked into bowl season.
Yeah, that's very surprising.
Sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's even crazier when I tell you they're playing in Las Vegas. They're playing not too far away from Utah.
That's going to be a lot of youth there.
A lot of youth
That's going to be... Oof.
That is
That's
a recipe for disaster. I will take this game -14.5. It's only at 6.5, so I'm nailing it. It's my stamp. It's my favorite bowl game bet so far. Love it.
I like it. My last one, I'm taking the Boca Raton Bowl, South Florida versus Syracuse.
Don, we should go to the Boca Raton Bowl next year.
That'll be so much fun.
Let's go. Who
Yeah,
cares?
no, it'll be good.
We'll paint ourselves. We'll pick different teams. Loser has to live there for 1 year. Yeah, we'll work out the details
You're out
later.
your mind. I'm calling for a South Florida upset. I'm taking them +3. South Florida has won all three wins this season as dogs already. They've closed out the season, beating the snot out of Charlotte 48-14. They went from 1-11 last season to 6-6 this year. This is a program that's been turning around with a new head coach that they brought in this year. Meanwhile, Syracuse on the other hand won 4 straight to start the season. And then went 6 out of 8 losses to end the year. They only won 2 out of 8. Just awful to end. And in every loss this season, Syracuse just does not cover the spread. Even when they're dogs, they just do not cover the spread there at all. Syracuse, I just don't see them. They're
Syracuse doesn't feel like a football school.
No, they are a team that's sliding right now.
Syracuse feels like one of those schools where you're like, they're really good at basketball, right? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, do they even have a football program? It's like Villanova. And I know Villanova is like a Division II or whatever. But, like, they're not, you know? Mm-hmm. That's what Syracuse feels like to me. You know? Like, they're not like a real football team. And it's funny that you're picking that type of school. I'm picking a school that's almost that same vibe.
Sure.
I'm going with Rutgers.
Okay.
I'm taking Rutgers +1.5 versus, and don't get scared when I tell you this name. They're playing Miami. Now, I know when you're like Rutgers versus Miami, and they're getting 1.5 points. This is what I was talking about when I love bowl season. Rutgers isn't gonna get a lot more winning seasons. They didn't have a lot before this. They don't make a lot of bowl games. Mm-mm. Rutgers is about to play in a Big Ten that's about to get aggressively more difficult.
Yes.
Miami's going to rest on their laurels that they've been doing for 20 years.
Yeah.
They're getting transfer portaled up to wazoo in that team. They lost their quarterback. They're getting a bunch of losses on that team. This Rutgers team wants to put a stamp on a season that they don't get to always say is a good season. Rutgers fans are fun. Rutgers for the win, +1.5. I love it.
Like it.
Let's move on to the pick 6. We're going to give you our 6 best bets of the week. Me and Don, we swear by these. We did really good last week, by the way.
Yeah, we did. We did very good.
Cleaned up. I'm going to start with the Jets +8.5 versus the Dolphins. I think I teased a little bit with my Zach Wilson love. I think this team could really shock the world. I think they have a legit defense. I think everybody knows that, but their offense is starting to come into their own a little bit more.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson on a high. I don't love this Dolphins team all the time. They've kind of shown me that they can't put away some teams all the time.
They live and die by Tyreek Hill.
And in the winter, that's not a team I really want to bet on all the time. Mm-hmm. Give me the Jets +8.5.
I think this line is going to shift depending on the Tyreek Hill news.
For sure.
He's still listed as questionable coming into the game. If you like this line,
I think Tyreek Hill's playing.
Yeah, I think he is going to be playing, but just how strong is he?
Yeah.
Then I think as we get closer to game time, we're going to hear more about the ankle. If you like the line, jump on it now. Because if any negative news comes out about his ankle, this line I think is going to start narrowing.
What's the line where you're like, all right, I'm going to go Dolphins? I think once it gets to 7. At 7, I'm
say
switching.
6.5, 7. That's when I'm starting to like Dolphins more.
What's your pick?
Mine, I'm taking Rams -6.5 against the Commanders. Rams TDs, they're coming in hot, a lot better. They are 3-1 in their last 4. Stafford has thrown for 800 yards, 10 touchdowns, and just 1 pick in his last 3 games.
He's been insane.
Doing wonderful. Kyron Williams on the other side, 110 rushing yards in 3 of the last 4 outings.
Just as good.
Yeah, he's ever since he's come back the offense has been doing great. Washington 4-game losing streak has yet to cover 20 points in their last 3 games.
Wow, slow offense.
Very slow offense here. I don't know what happened to this team. They were finally looking a little bit better for a week or
Yeah,
two.
right when I bought in, they were like, all right, watch
Yeah.
this implosion.
Rams, on the other hand, they've covered 9 of their last 10 in December.
I've been hitting the Rams every week.
I like the Rams a lot here.
I'm touching this game too. I understand that you gave me that stat of Commanders not scoring over 20.
Yeah.
They had a bye week. They had time to get those reps in, really figure out that offense. I think they're going to come out swinging.
Sure.
I'm taking the over in this game, 50.5. I know it's a huge number.
That seems doable, though, considering the Rams are going to get 3 to 4 on their own.
I think the Rams could get 5.
Yeah,
I think I think we're
realistically.
talking about like a 3-touchdown game from Stafford, and we're talking about 2 touchdowns from Kyron. I think this is going to be the Commanders have the worst defense in the league. That Commanders defense
Yes,
is
they are
awful.
statistically 32nd.
Yeah, and I think this is a touchdown fest.
Yeah.
50.5, I feel like it's an easy just smash. Dom, what's your other bet?
My second going in, I'm taking SF minus 13.5 against the Cardinals. Arizona, they are the best team outside of the division against the spread. 7-2 on the season. They cover when not playing in their division. They are 0-4 in divisional matchups against the spread this season. They just do not do well inside the NFC West there. It's going to be a gross game for
And
me.
you're taking the Niners.
I'm taking the Niners to cover.
Okay. I'm taking the Cardinals.
No. A lot of debate here. I like it.
12.5 is just a number for a team coming off a bye week that just makes you go, why? There's no significant injuries on the Cardinals.
You have Hollywood coming back from injury.
He's here. He's playing.
Yeah, he's going to be playing. Their secondary weapons, Trey McBride.
Rondell Moore caught a touchdown last week, sir. 2 weeks ago, sir.
Rondell Moore is not a secondary receiving.
He's good.
He's good. No. Don't get me wrong. He's good. I like Dortch as well on the receiving core. I like
Lloyd,
Dortch.
like they got guys.
But none of them, the true number 2 in target share is
It's
Trey McBride.
He's very good.
49ers are the second best team at covering the tight end on the season.
That's fine. They can't cover a good Rondell. 12.5, Don?
I have it at 13.5 that I took it at. The line is starting to dip down because so many people are on your side going, that's a huge line. I'm like, I like San Francisco here. Cardinals have a defense that can get lit up, and I think that they're not going to score that much. I think the 49ers defense is too suffocating.
I disagree. I think this is a Kyler game. I think Kyler's going to be... Kyler's playing for his life right now. Kyler is playing for his job. And I think he's about
He'll get a job immediately at the end of the season. If Cardinals don't take him, he's going somewhere else for
if
money.
he wants to play in Arizona,
Does he want to play in Arizona?
That's the real question.
That's the big question.
Let me go into my game. I'm going to go the Falcons -3 versus the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Falcons -3 is so weird because I'm like, shouldn't this number be higher? Then I think about this division being the trash that it really is. I think we should all just come together and just let the NFC South just sink into the ocean as we all wave goodbye to it. But before we do that, let's make money on the Falcons -3 against the Panthers, who are by far the worst team in the league.
Oh, they are definitely this season. And I think that if they continued what they found last week, the Falcons, if they continue getting Drake London involved, if they continue getting Kyle Pitts involved, getting Bijan goal line carries.
Wasn't it crazy when you looked up on the screen, you're like, is that Kyle Pitts catching a touchdown?
It's like, is this the Falcons? Are we sure? What's changed?
I was like that couldn't have been Kyle Pitts. That's got to be someone else wearing Kyle Pitts' jersey. If there's one thing we know about the Falcons is Kyle Pitts isn't allowed to be involved.
If they continue getting the ball to their best players, this is going to be a rout very quickly.
Did you find it crazy when the Falcons announced that even if they lose all their games, Arthur Smith's job is safe? That is crazy to me. How can you do that?
Well, I mean, if you're the son of the owner of FedEx, yeah. It's just nepotism at that point. That's all they got for him. Yeah.
Cool.
My third one overall, I'm taking the Browns -3 against the Bears here. Cleveland's coming off season high of Flacco, 307 passing yards, best the Browns have seen all season. Week prior, they had 204, which is the third most. Flacco has been statistically the best quarterback the Browns have had. 5-2 touchdown interception ratio. Browns quarterbacks outside of Flacco, 9-13 touchdown interception ratio. Flacco's been playing a lot cleaner than any other one. Chicago's passing offense, Fields still just cannot get to a second touchdown.
What's the bet
this season? I'm taking the Browns -3. Even if Myles Garrett's playing a little bit banged up here, the Bears defense does not scare me much, and I think that Flacco's playing well enough that he can light up this defense.
We don't look at each other's notes.
No, we do not.
So there's moments where me and you where I'm like, okay, cool, we saw the same board. But there's not moments where we have almost every, like, we're picking the exact same games. Because I'm picking the Browns over.
Okay.
The Browns-Bears over 38.
I like that a lot too.
I love it.
That's a great line.
And I'm not a big over guy. I mean, I do take overs, but, like, I'm not an over guy like this. I saw this and I was like, Joe Flacco's good for 2. That's all I need out of him.
Yeah, realistically.
Like, I was like, we're rooting for, 5 touchdowns and a field goal?
That seems very doable for these two teams.
You tell me 21-17 is not a real score we can see on the board?
No, I can see it. I can
That's what I'm
definitely
saying.
can.
Yeah, that's my other bet. Do you have any more?
I have 3 more.
You rattle them. I went through all my picks already.
Because, yeah, we've been piggybacking on each other's picks.
Yeah.
I'm taking the other one I'm taking is going to be Jake Browning under 33.5 passing attempts.
Okay.
In his 3 starts, he's only cleared this line once, and it took overtime against the Jags to finally get there. Otherwise, he hasn't cleared 30 passing attempts. It's been run heavy since Burrow went down, and they've actually seen a 5% drop-off in passing since Browning's taken over. I don't see him covering 33.5. I think the line's inflated because of the overtime game.
But, Don, the Bengals are the hottest team in the league right now.
Because they're able to run the ball. I don't see
John Mixon, bro. He's doing it.
He's a dog in there. My other one, I'm taking Cortland Sutton over 50.5 receiving yards. Sutton's cleared this line 5 straight, 6 in his last 7. He leads the league in receiving since week 8. He is 50% of the air yard share for the Broncos. And Detroit has given up his last in EPA per pass attempt. Mm-hmm. And since week 9 has allowed 8 yards per attempt to opposing quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Detroit gives up the deep ball. They get lit up by it. And
you've been so right about that. Every time you tell me Detroit's bad against the deep ball, I think, and I'm watching the Detroit games, and I'm always watching deep balls get completed against them, and I always think about you giving me this stat.
Because those linebackers are solid. The linebackers are good.
Yeah.
You just get past them, and it's scary. And with and since Sutton's getting 50% of all air yards since week 8, I like him to go for 50. Like, that seems like a very low number for him.
We've talked about Sutton. I feel like he catches a ridiculous touchdown every week.
He does.
It's crazy. Do you have another one?
My last one, I'm taking the Seahawks-Eagles game. I'm double dipping a little bit there.
I like it.
Under 47.5.
So I was looking at that one too.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I just don't want to be the guy who's sitting there on a Monday night game being like, oh, and I'm rooting for the under. I don't want to do that.
No, it's not a good emotion feeling during the game. Mm-hmm. But I just don't know if I trust the Eagles to really score here. I'm finding that there's going to be a lot of desperation by the Seahawks and a good amount of turnovers to clamp it. I think the Seahawks kind of are going to try to control the game as much as possible, control clock.
That's kind of the goal at all times for the Seahawks. I lied. I have one more game.
Let's hear it.
So I wanted to save one bowl game outside of the Bowl Boys segment.
Okay.
For my pick 6 because I have a best bet. This is my best bet of the week. It's my favorite bet of the week.
Sure.
There's the New Mexico Bowl going on this year.
Yes.
New Mexico is playing in the New Mexico Bowl.
Love it. Love it.
Against Fresno State, who is the most New Mexico team that's not in New Mexico. I sat here. I'm looking at the line, and it's impossible for me not to take New Mexico.
They're basically playing a home game, yeah.
-3.5, New Mexico State. Book it. It's my favorite bet of the week.
Sure.
I love it. How are you going to lose at home? There's nothing else happening in New Mexico. They could have every citizen there in the stadium, and it still wouldn't be full. But they're going to do it. It's going to be awesome. Shout out New Mexico. I think they're the Aggies or the Argos or something like that. It's a little cowboy guy. Yeah.
I'm just gonna let you sit on that.
Yeah, I
island
think it is.
alone.
I think it is.
Funny.
Yeah, New Mexico State.
Sure.
Don, give me the pray for the parlay, please.
So our parlay, we're doing 3 legs this week. We're looking at the Ravens minus 3.5 against the Jags. We're already taking that line in our gambling ring. We're looking at the Falcons minus 3 against the Panthers this week.
I was right there. The Aggies.
They are the Aggies. But no, I was just gonna let you sit and fumble with that. That was fun.
I was right. I played a lot of NCAA 14.
Falcons minus 3 against the Panthers, and then what I think we both agree is going to be a good upset game. Broncos plus 4 against Detroit.
Juices the line beautifully.
Yeah, it gets us to a 606 line there.
Crazy parlay.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a fun one this week, and these are going to be some fun games to watch.
So Ravens minus 3, Falcons minus 3, and
Broncos plus
4. Plus 606. Put $15 on it.
Yeah.
Go get lunch for the week, and thank us later. I promise you, it's going to be an amazing moment. You know what's the best feeling? When 2 of your parlays, when you're on a parlay and 2 of them have hit, and you're just waiting for that last one.
And you just have that excitement going into a game that
Nothing but hope. Nothing but sitting there and being like, oh, I'm the smartest man alive. I love it.
solid feeling there.
Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Bust Picks. My name's Dio. That's Donovan. And remember, pray for the parlay.